but if you take a look, this is where all the arguments come in. If you guys know this, where does most of the money for our government come from? So who is that? That's what I want you to us. Why is it that they're always fussing about corporations? Because their sliver, they want, people want them to pay more. That who's responsible for blue and orange? Us. And businesses, because they've got to pay part of your Social Security just like you do. If they didn't have to, they could actually pay you more. So blue and orange is us, and then that's that other stuff. So it makes you kind of just think twice. Okay? Now, what about mandatory spending? What's the biggest one, and why do you need to know this? And I guarantee you this is on the test. What's the biggest thing they pay for? And guess what we're doing? We're getting older. Well, who's getting older now? The older people. Now there's a group, and you got to know the baby boomers. Okay, so the baby boomers are retiring a lot every day. Who's paying for their retirement? You are, and me. Yeah, I've got. By the way, I'm a baby boomer by 11 days, so you can fuss at me if you want, but I got a while. But what's Medicare? What's Medicare? Make sure you know this. Everybody, come on now. We got. Medicare is health care for the. Medicare is for the elderly. What's Medicaid? And the poor. And the poor. Okay, so then that's where all that. Make sure you know the difference between those two. They'll get you on that. And then there's some of that other stuff. All right, so that's total spending. One of the things that you will get asked about, what's the biggest component of discretionary? Is the military. Why is it that the military gets so much grief? Because they take up what? Over half. And by the way, I always like to make this joke. You guys are our nation's most precious resource. We always talk about it. We get teared up. But then when you look at the budget, do we back it up with numbers? Yeah, no. They're just telling you that to make you feel better. Military, that's why they get grief. All right? Now, then this is the one that's scary. Make sure you know this. Okay? What is green and blue? Mandatory. Mandatory. This is the part you got to hear. Why is it that they fuss over $2 billion for a wall? Because the Congress really has very little room, because that's all there's discretionary. And then what takes up most of discretionary? The military. So they struggle finding money for some of this stuff because so much of our entitlements and mandatory spending eat up the budget. The only way you can fix the green is to do what? This is a question on the test. How can you change mandatory or entitlement spending? Congress has to change the law. Now, how easy is that going to be for them to do? No, they're not going to do it. Because as soon as you try to talk about Social Security, that's when the Democrats say the Republicans are trying to kill old people. Because you're going to cut their check. It gets crazy. Anyway, all right. And real quick, I'm not going to look at that one. Not going to look at that one, but I will look at, this is my favorite website. Somebody in the last class said, I love this website, it's so soothing. It's stressful. Look at that. Because guess who's paying for that? We are. The reason why that number is so big is because this generation, you need to hear this part, this generation needs everything now, so we're borrowing money to take care of ourselves, and we're going to make your grandkids pay for it. Wow, isn't that terrible? That's why I don't like politicians, because guess why they don't try to fix it? Because they don't want the grief from people. They figure when it implodes or explodes, they'll be out of office, so it's somebody else's problem. So we have politicians, Republican, Democrat. I don't like any of them. Just me. All right. Now, last activity besides, we're good. Now, I need to give you a couple words. Hey, by the way, we need to raise money for the school so they can get the backs of these. They will not get any money from me. All right, so now, you guys, the next part of this is grants. So you got categorical, block, very good, and revenue sharing. What's the characteristic that differentiates those three? What one word, if you were in my class, I would tell you, what do you immediately talk about? What's the difference between those three?
Division.
That's okay. That's not what I'm looking for. That's actually it's can I just give it to you?
Yes.
We're down to our last 20 minutes. I'm getting kind of emotional. So
Me too.
yeah, you guys have been emotional the whole time. Strings. Huh?
Very emotionally.
Okay. Strings. What does that mean, strings?
You have to do certain.
If I'm going to give you this money, here's the part you got to hear. If I'm going to give you this money, you've got to do this, 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 and this. So which one has the most strings? Categorical. Which has the next block? Which has no? Okay, now here's 3 questions. I'm giving you test questions. Which one does the federal government like the most? Categorical. Why? That's how they control us. If you want this money, do this, 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 and this. 0.08 DUI, or whatever else they want to do. Okay? Which one does the state like? Block. Well, and I'll agree with you to a certain point, but we'll get to yours in a second. Block, because they have a little bit more what? Freedom. Revenue sharing, who started it? That's a question. Ronald Reagan. And basically it was, here's some money. Nobody really likes that one because, say I'm in education in Alabama, I lobby Congress for an education grant. Who gets the money? Educate. I do. Okay? If it's revenue sharing, I'm educated. I lobby Congress. They give us money. The state can spend it on what? Whatever they want. So I do all the work to get the money, and then you spend it on something else. So that one's not around anymore. 90% of the grants are categorical. There's 2 kinds. One is formula, and one is project. Okay? All you got to know about formula grant is based on the number of people that you have. We're about to do the census in this country. Why do cities and states care about that census? Because the more people you have, the more money you get. The cities will sue. You didn't count enough people, because then it cuts into their funding. What's a project grant? This specific thing. It doesn't have anything to do with people. Okay? And then you got block grants. States like it because there's freedom. Go ahead and do that next activity. We are almost done, people. Come on. Come on. Finish strong.